Hi y'all, I want to talk about Party Finder today. Until this tier, I'd never actually experienced Party Finder. People love to make memes about it, you hear horror stories, and it's a lot to think about when you, meaning me, already suffers from anxiety about playing with other people. The thing of it is, I really wanted to clear the raid tier, but almost all of my friends are in a static, and to be perfectly honest, I am not on their level. So 2026 was supposed to be like my year of being brave and trying new things that I usually shy away from. And since it's my year of being fearless, I decided to step into PF. Alone. I didn't know how people check prog points or even how to read the lingo of PF descriptions. So when Savage released, I pulled up PF on day one. For the first time ever. I mean, besides like hunts and stuff, but that doesn't really count. Now, at the time of making this video, I've only cleared the first fight in the tier, but like, I think I got a lot of experience from the last couple of weeks that I wouldn't have had before. And if I have one takeaway from PF, it's that I learned more about the 14 players and even myself than I think I would have ever learned in one psychology class or therapy session. And the thing about PF is that it is meant to be an accessibility tool, right? So like on the NA data centers, it is the only way you're going to get into harder content like Savage for 8 people that you can't do alone. Unless you happen to have 7 other friends available at your disposal anytime you want, but not all of us have that. It is scary for someone who has never done it. Duty Finder, by contrast, is easier because it's mostly just brain dead content you've already done. You're just queuing for roulettes to get daily rewards, often to help you with leveling a job, to gear alt jobs, or to work on whatever relic you might be doing at the time. There's so many reasons for it, and so you get more casual people, and the vibe is way different. Less urgent, more chill. So PF as a new player feels a lot different. And I won't lie, the amount of anxiety I had joining my first PF was crazy high. I was alone in a world I knew nothing about, and this might be nothing for some people, and somebody is probably watching saying, what an idiot, can't even join a PF on her own. But really, I've never had to. And yeah, that is a privilege of having raider friends and surrounding myself with good people willing to drop what they're doing to help me. But I wanted to do this for myself. So day one came, and it took me 30 minutes to get up the nerve to hit that little join button on a fresh prog party on day one. It is much easier to do now that I've done it a couple of 100 times. But that first time, my heart was pounding, my blood was racing, my hands were shaking. It was a thing. And there were times I was so mad in the raid that I cried. There were times that I was just having fun and prog didn't matter because the group was fun. I got angry and told friends that I'd quit when I was frustrated, only to join another PF the next day after I slept it off. I've never had an emotional roller coaster like PF. To be perfectly honest, there were good days, and yes, there were a lot of bad days. I had to take days off from raiding because it was so emotionally taxing for me. But emotional tax is not the only tax I pay in PF. I spent a lot of time in that place. The same issues always come up. And I think this is where the PF memes come in. It is hard to explain mechanics in a tiny little chat box. It is hard to explain it in text format at all. Like day one, I went into a VC with a partial static I didn't even know, and I learned more in that time in the hours than in all the hours before that in general. And let me tell you, that was hard to do. Just going into a VC with people I didn't even know. Oh my God, I was terrified. Communication is hard, and it's even harder through a computer. Sometimes things come off harsher than intended, and sometimes you can't really clarify what you're trying to say without more explanation. And seeing how my emotional status kind of roller coastered, I can see why people get upset or frustrated. But also, a lot of 14 players or bottoms don't come for me. You know who you are. So they just make snide comments instead of full on saying what they mean. I don't tend to chat a lot in PF groups. I like to sit there and watch how people interact. And honestly, I understand why they react the way they do when you're on pull 35 of the day and can't make it back to your actual prog point. And the thing of it is like you're forced to rely on people you don't know to do the mechanics right, to not die, to press damage buttons, to press mitigation buttons. There are all these moving parts in a fight that a very small part of the 14 player base plays regularly. And you have to depend on 7 other people to do the right stuff while also making sure you're doing the right stuff. So I could blame other people all day long for why PF is such a beast, but this experience so far has taught me a lot about myself as a player. Having never stepped into PF on my own before, I watched a lot. I learned how people structured their descriptions. I learned what didn't make sense to me probably didn't make sense to others, and like I would avoid those parties. I learned clean and clear descriptions spoke to me more than vague ones. I even put up my own PF a couple of times once I figured out when people were putting up parties that were not my prog point, either too early in the fight or hadn't been to their prog point yet, that I was wasting my time joining earlier prog parties that wouldn't even see where I was at. And so I wasn't going to progress. Personally, I gotta learn more patience, y'all. I realized that like I have somehow surrounded myself with cracked raiders. And honestly, that is why I kind of felt bad about my own gameplay for a very long time. But I didn't realize that's what it was. I'm relatively a new raider. Like, I've done a couple of tiers, right? But I've never finished one. I've never really gone past the first couple of fights. I've only kind of really dipped my toes into stuff. So like, I'm still learning how to push buttons while bombarded with mechanics I don't understand. And honestly, I probably held back my friends from prog because I didn't ask questions. I didn't understand how to study mechanics from videos or streams. Like, I looked at these videos and I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. And now I see like this same discrepancy in other people when I'm in PF. And I understand more that patience is a virtue that I have not really figured out yet. And I'm very thankful that my friends have a lot of patience with me. People are learning just like me. And I probably should give myself a little grace. Honestly, even in this short time, I feel like I have improved as a player. Like, I know I have. I still need to work on my damage because I'm still a 0 bars queen, but I am improving slowly. I'm learning how mechanics work rather than trying to do the motions and hoping for the same outcome every time. I think that a lot of that improvement is that I'm playing with people that I don't know rather than people that I do. And my mind is not focused on how much worse I am than my friends, but like more about how to improve little by little. And that helps me learn a lot better. PF also lets me move at my own pace. In the past, like the static would move forward with a mechanic that I could accidentally do, but I wasn't really learning it. So then I would screw it up the next time, and then I couldn't tell them because I was embarrassed. And then sometimes I didn't want to tell them because I didn't understand it. And sometimes I didn't want to tell them that I didn't understand it because I didn't want to be the dumb one who didn't get it. I still have a long way to go to be the raider that I want to be, right? I still need to continue to learn and grow as a player and focus less on how bad I am and more about how I can get better. Because I don't think that I'm a bad player. I think that I am inexperienced, especially compared to friends. And I need to gain that experience before I'm able to keep up. That was my PF experience so far. I'm going to keep going and we're going to see how that turns out. Thank you so much for watching and chilling with me while I'm talking all this out. I hope you got something out of this too, so let me know if you did. We continue on this year. We learn, we grow. It is my year of being fearless after all.